I had a colleague and a friend once say to me, you know, feminism is a liberty, as in it is a way of being in the world. And I think for me, what has been most central is the idea of living life radically on my own terms, in terms of who I choose to love and how I choose to love, and also like who I choose to be, you know, as a human being, right? So for me, it's not so much about how you live it online or how you live it offline, but it is, if this is your way of being in the world, that is about how can you value and in an everyday practice have a value of everybody around you. And how does that influence your teaching, the sort of outreach work that you do, the projects that you do, the ways in which you build community, how you engage? And so for me, it's just very much a part of who I am. And I would say, like, for lots of the feminists that I interview about their sort of histories and trajectories of feminism, or even for some activists who are very uncomfortable with the term and think it isn't, you know, work for them, it's sort of too Western, too outside, or some people that have said to me, you know, Jamet was first before feminists. I think that was Attila Springer. I like to make sure I cite my sources that said that. So, you know, a lot of different kinds of philosophies that get at the same idea of the centrality of valuing people who have been historically devalued or considered not human or less than human. So we've seen a lot of, and also a kind of resurgence in a very visible way of LGBT activism, for example. So right now we are here doing this interview, but we could have well been at the Caribbean. Perhaps that might have been the better place to be today, at the Caribbean Court of Justice for the hearing regarding these laws from the 1800s against cross-dressing for an improper purpose. And I would say one of the things that is very heartening about what activism looks like now, and if you think about Guyana Trans United, you will see members of Guyana Trans United on the streets at protests on a range of different issues. The ways in which they show solidarity with a lot of other Guyanese that are also experiencing forms of harm and marginalization. I think that coalition building, that cross-movement building, that idea that, you know, we all have to be in solidarity with each other. I think that is the best of what Caribbean feminisms look like, and I think you see it actually a lot more in the Guyanese space with our organizations like Red Thread, and also, like I said, Guyana Trans United, that really try to do the difficult work of working, you know, across race/ethnicity and across all, you know, other kinds of difference. And I think that what social media allows you to do in an immediate way is to connect and to bear witness to what is happening, and also to show solidarity and to see the region. This region is not one that's defined nationally. So there is this transnational women's movement, and it has a longer history that predated online feminisms. And what online feminisms do is, you know, allow another platform and another way for solidarity, a solidarity that has always been there to be expressed.